My name is Sonia Nelson. I'm 28, oldest child, default fixer, the family emergency contact. In any photo, I'm the tall shadow at the edge, shoulders angled like I'm halfway out of the frame. Nate, my brother, sits in the middle, always mid-laugh, hand casually resting on someone else's shoulder, the self-appointed king of every picture. At 7:18 p.m. on a Tuesday, my phone lit up. Dad. He never says hello when he's about to drop a decision like a bowling ball. We're leaving tomorrow, he announced. Your car is already sold. For a second, my brain short-circuited. My car? He repeated it, slow, careful, as if I were dense. Your car is sold. It's done. I laughed, not with joy, more like a pressure valve releasing. You forgot something, I said. A fork clinked somewhere in the background. I could hear Mom ask, "Who is it?" Nate's voice joined. Tell her she's welcome. The blessing of the golden child. What are you talking about? Dad's voice sharpened, that thin blade he uses when he wants me to know I'm skating on ice. I stared at the kitchen ceiling light, sticky notes forming a chaotic collage. Deployment steps for a 6 a.m. server patch, grocery list, eggs, foil, soap, a dentist reminder, and a single line steadier than I felt. Hold the line. You forgot, I said softly. What you sold wasn't a car. It was a story. I hung up before the blade could swing. The room felt too blue, then too quiet. My phone face down, I listened to the refrigerator murmur. My heart drummed a slow, persistent siren. I live in a one-bedroom, view blocked by a brick wall, sliver of sunset 8 minutes long. Coffee black because cream is a luxury I forget to buy. People call me practical, responsible, words that sound like praise until they're a sentence. At 9:12, the phone buzzed again. Mom. Don't be petty. It's family. Nate. Sis, wait until you see Europe. Dad. You don't need a car. Walk. I didn't answer. The sky faded from bruised orange to black, then gray. Around 3, I tore an envelope in half. At the top, I wrote, what is actually mine? The list was short. Bed, dishes, laptop, breath. I hesitated, then added car? I already knew the answer. When I was 10, I saved coins in a peanut butter jar for a used Game Boy. Pride shook my hands the day I brought it home. Dad took it and said, if you can afford toys, you can afford to help, sending me off for bread and milk with a lecture. That December, Nate got a brand new console. Don't say we never give you kids anything, Dad said. I told myself I didn't care. I told myself, jaw clenched, I'd learn to sleep that way. Adulthood swapped props but kept the script. Community college night shifts, keeping servers alive, printers from screaming. Raises arrived as numbers. Family debts as phrases. Just for now, you're good with accounts. We'll settle later. I built spreadsheets. Rent, utilities, gas, groceries, and a tab I called boundaries as a private joke. A story I promised myself I'd write one day. Sundays were worst. Meatloaf, TV too loud. Aunt Marcy pinning opinions like sticky bills to the air. Nate's got such a spark. He just needs a runway. Sonia's steady. She'll help. Everyone nodded, as if I'd volunteered in a meeting I missed. Months ago, scraping plates, I overheard Dad say, once Nate's coaching takes off, the whole family benefits. Mom murmured, Sonia will float us till then. Faucets aren't secret. They spill in public. 2 weeks before the call, Dad admitted the house taxes were behind. Timing, he said, his word for whole. He needed $20,400 by Friday. I pulled from my emergency fund, that myth I keep fed. I do the right thing even when it hurts. The emergency multiplied. $900 for electric after Nate left the AC running. My spreadsheet grew polite rows under bills that never should have carried my name. When I finally bought my hatchback, 5 years old, low mileage, clean record, it felt like claiming a small plot with my name on it. Not flashy, reliable. Employee leasing program at work made the tax math work. Title in my name. Tracker under the dash, matchbox size. No private sales. Service only at approved shops. Boring. Like seatbelts. Boring like the difference between an accident and a story about one. Second month with the car, it smelled like Nate's cologne. He borrowed it for a showing. Returned it with a new air freshener dangling. I'll refill the tank, he promised. Once he did. $14. Then Mom started calling it our car. First time I let it pass. Third time it stuck. Our car will be useful for your father's tools, she said. Then Nate. Our car for a date. I hesitated. Don't be petty. You don't even go anywhere, Mom said. I go to work, I said. She didn't laugh. Nate got engaged to Jenna, sweet one-on-one, posting quotes about pruning your circle otherwise. Venue filtered through a dozen mood boards. Deposit made me swallow twice. Mom sent a link. Isn't it beautiful? We all contribute. I offered to pay for chairs. Chairs are included, she replied, offended by my no. I offered DSLR photos. We want professionals, Sonia. I said I couldn't give more. Silence 3 days. On day 4, you've changed like a crime. Day before the call, Dad texted. Bring the car early tomorrow. Nate has errands. I typed. I need it for work. Sending felt like stealing from a church. Then came the call. Dad, cheerful like a con man after a handshake. We got a place. Europe for a while. Fresh start. You'll understand when you visit. Mom laughed, tiny bright. Fresh start from what? I asked. Dead is a game, he said. They want a pound of flesh. We're not giving it. Movie wisdom half stolen. What does that have to do with my car? I asked. Liquidity, he said. We'll pay you back. Translation. They used my stability as an ATM and called it love. I texted Evan, my steady boyfriend. Family thing. I'm okay. Call later. He replied. Here if you want me. Proud of you either way. 5 words that didn't try to fix me. Silence afterward felt warm. I opened Nate's feed. A week earlier, photo of my hatchback, palm out like a salesman. Caption, new chapter. Our driveway. Comments. Proud of you, King. I stared at the fleet sticker glinting like a lighthouse. That night, a voice whispered. This is going to be a problem. I shoved it in a mental shoebox. Tonight the box kicked. I wrote a 3-point plan, secure the car. Say no out loud. Don't justify. Underneath. Do not save them from consequences you didn't create. Morning arrived, smell of toast and hairspray. I parked 2 blocks away. Rehearsing no until it felt normal in my mouth. Hallway lined with suitcases like a procession. Nate grinned, toast between teeth. Airport ride, Queen Sonia. Did you bring the docs? Dad, phone in hand. Sonia. Mom. Half lipstick, syllables soft as keys. You didn't sell my car, I said. Dad finally glanced up. Don't start. Mom tried a sad smile. I'm breaking her. Sonia. We got $9,500. Done. Nate will get his cut. No, the word hovered in the air like glass no one wanted to spill. I set down an envelope with pages. Lease tracker note, contract clause. Title in my name. No private sale. Only thing they sold was a story. Phone buzzed. Mine. Dad, Mom, probably the buyer. Nate swallowed toast, laughed that didn't land. I'm taking my car now, I said. Need money? Sell your own things. Need a ride? Call an Uber. Mom whispered. After all we've done for you. I didn't raise my voice. I owe nothing, not my credit score, car or sleep. Dad tilted his chin. You think you're better? I think I'm separate. I walked past the front door I painted 3 summers ago, the morning air knife clean. Hatchback chirped unlocked. At the stop sign I whispered. No is a full sentence. At my desk an hour later, server patch went green across the board. 2 hours of tidy since. Then my phone pulsed. 47 missed calls, 19 texts, 3 voicemails from an unknown number. The buyer. I forwarded everything to the fleet office with a short note and a photo of Nate grinning in front of my car. Fleet sticker winking like truth. Vehicle desk replied in minutes. Already spoke to him. Refund in process. Sorry you're going through this. I almost cried at a sentence that treated me like a person. More texts arrived. Mom, we missed our flight because of you. Dad, bring the car by 5 or I'll report it stolen. Nate, wow. Just wow. I wrote back to Dad. The contract is clear. On lunch break, I copied my 3-point plan onto a fresh sheet, taped inside my planner. Office windows caught a sliver of noon light. My keyboard glowed like the start of a better story, still mine to write. There's a strange peace after you finally say no to someone who's always counted on your yes. The silence of a house where every clock ticks, but no one knows the time. For me, that silence lasted 36 hours. Then the fallout began. Buyer called the fleet office furious. Dad left voicemails turning anger into performance. Mom's voice notes narrated a tragedy that never happened. Nate posted on social media. Some people care more about cars than family. Sad world. 200 likes. The hardest part about being the responsible child is how people romanticize it. Until it's no longer convenient for them. Then suddenly you're selfish, cold, uncooperative. That night I sat on my couch with my laptop open, diving into old folders, receipts, messages, bank statements, every quiet act of generosity that had been rebranded as helping family. Each one was a scar with a date attached. Age 10. The Game Boy I never played because bread and milk mattered more. Age 16, Nate backed Dad's truck into a mailbox. Side mirror shattered. Dad handed me the $380 bill. You're the responsible one. Handle it. I lived on instant noodles for a month. Age 19. Mom put the gas bill in my name because the online portal gave her a headache. Stayed that way 7 years. Every time I suggested switching it back, she'd sigh, rub her wrist and whisper, "Stress gives me a rash," then send a photo of a tiny pink patch as proof. Age 22. Nate's third major didn't work out. I co-signed his lease because he needed a chance. First 2 months he paid. Third month he forgot. Fourth month he was investing in himself with some online business course sold by a guy who sold courses. I covered $12,200. Another $1,200 went to eviction notices. They don't care whose fault it is, only whose name is on the lease. One of those names was mine, attached to a job that runs background checks. Age 23. Mom asked me to add Nate to my phone plan temporarily. That temporary stretched into years and a secondary mailing address. Even now, my carrier emails list him as line N. Nelson. Occasionally I'd see charges for ringtone apps in 2023 and close my eyes, inhale, exhale, whisper, "You're not crazy. You're just tired." Age 24-27. Wedding years, 3 false starts. Deposits went out like weather balloons and vanished into the sky. Mom promised we'd get them back, they never came to me. Nate bought a motorcycle for content. Sponsors were supposed to cover it. They didn't. Guess who bought the helmets? Every transaction had the same invisible signature. Sonia will cover it. When I bought my hatchback, I thought the pattern had ended. Mine signed, financed, insured. Not just transportation. Proof that I could care for myself without collapsing under their chaos. But families like mine see ownership as a shared resource. By the second month, it had become our car. Mom's words still echo. Our car will be useful when we move your father's tools. Soft, casual, deceptive language. Every hour was a tiny eraser. I let it happen because it was easier to give an inch than fight for a mile. 3 months before the call, Dad sat me down in the kitchen. House tax is overdue. He needed $2,400 by Friday. He said it like he was asking for salt, not survival. "You're doing so well, honey," he said. "We'll pay you back once the coaching business takes off." That mythical business Nate had been launching for 2 years. I pulled from my emergency fund, telling myself it was temporary. In this family, emergencies are dominoes. Save one and another falls. 2 weeks later, the electric bill was short $900. Nate left the AC running on a weekend trip. Mom called it an accident. I called it habit. I tracked it all in a spreadsheet. Ongoing family support. Not a budget. A ledger of betrayal. Line 48. Property tax, $2,400. Line 49, electric, $900. Line 50, thanks, car gas, Nate forgot. Line 51, miscellaneous love, apparently. Months before everything fell apart. I remember sitting in that hatchback outside my apartment. Night had fallen hours ago. No radio. Silence felt like judgment and freedom at once. I wrote a single line in my notes app. If I ever lose this car, I'll know I've lost myself. Now it felt prophetic. After the sale, my inbox became a battlefield. Fleet office confirmed they intercepted the transaction before final paperwork. The buyer demanded compensation for false representation. Dad forwarded it to me. "Handle this, Sonia. You're good with words." I didn't reply. Silence did the work. Then came Mom's guilt campaign. Photos of half-packed suitcases, teary eyes captioned, "We missed our flight because of you." Voice note, You'll regret pushing us away. Family doesn't last forever. I listened once, then deleted it. Nate tried another angle. Selfie from the airport bar, beer in hand, grin wide. No hard feelings, sis. I'll Venmo you when the sponsorship clears. I almost laughed. Almost. Deep down I realized. They didn't just sell my car. They sold the illusion that I would always return to fix what they broke. That night Evan came over. No advice. No pity. Just takeout and quiet presence. We ate on the floor. My table buried under receipts. He picked one up, scanned it, said softly, "You've been keeping score a long time." I had to, I said. Otherwise, they'd convince me I imagined it. So what's next? He asked. Honestly, I stared at the stack. I think I'm finally closing the tab. I reached for my laptop, opened the spreadsheet, scrolled to the bottom. In bold, I typed one last line. Account status closed. Then I saved the file and renamed it. Receipts of a lifetime. Next morning my phone buzzed again. Dad voice booming, fake cheer. Good news, Sonia. Found another buyer, cash deal this time. Bring the keys. Let's make it official. My hand didn't tremble. You can't sell something you don't own. He chuckled. Oh, we'll see about that. I had already seen enough. I wasn't the family's backup plan anymore. I was the story they could no longer rewrite. The next day felt like walking into a storm with my name written on it. Trouble was in the air. Heavy, humid, familiar. At 8:42 a.m., I parked 2 blocks from my parents' house. Before I practiced saying no. This time I was ready to prove it. The smell hit first. Hairspray, toast, burnt coffee. The olfactory background of my childhood. Chaos disguised as normal. The hallway lined with suitcases. Mom's floral, Nate's hardshell, tags still attached. Nate stood in the kitchen scrolling through his phone, sunglasses on indoors. Well, look who decided to join the family send-off, he smirked. Here to apologize? No, I said, stepping past him. I'm here for my car. He laughed like it was a joke. Still hung up on that. It's just a car, Sonia. I turned slowly toward him. Then you won't mind not having it. Dad came down the stairs, phone in one hand, passport in the other. Sonia, he said as if my name was an inconvenience. Let's not make this ugly. We handled it. You handled it illegally, I said, pulling a folded stack of papers from my bag. Titles in my name, fleet lease contract forbidding private sale. You sold nothing but air. Dad chuckled. That low, dismissive sound he's always used before lying and calling it leadership. Sweetheart, we're family. No one's talking about legalities here. That's the problem, I said quietly. Mom appeared, half-applied lipstick, face tight with fear and guilt. Sonia, please. Your father's trying to fix things. You can't understand the pressure we're under. I do understand, I said. I've been paying for it. Nate groaned, tossing sunglasses on the counter. God, here we go again. That I'm the victim monologue. Victim, I repeated. You drove my car for months, ran bills through my accounts, and let Dad sell it out from under me. You're not my victim. You're my proof. His jaw twitched. You really think you're better than us, huh? I think I'm separate, I said. Same words I'd used the day before. Only now they landed like hammers. Dad set his phone down, voice hardening. You've had everything easy because we built this family from the ground up. You wouldn't last a day without us. I almost laughed. You mean the ground I paid for? The taxes I covered, the bills I carried while you played patriarch. Mom's eyes filled. Don't talk to your father like that.